Hello again, and this is part 3 of our chapter 1, Understanding Media. So in our previous presentation, I talked about a film that is dedicated to paraplegic athletes who play a form of rugby. I said basketball, but it's more like a ball game, rugby. And that film is called Murder Ball. So if you have a chance to watch Murder Ball, you can actually understand the example that I was trying to make. But that was to illustrate different interest groups, different subcultures within a culture, and Murder Ball was created in America, so it is overall within the American culture, but it is a small fraction, small fragment, small pocket of a subculture of athletes who are also people with disabilities. So in this part of the chapter, we will continue talking about mass communication and the digital transformation. So up to this point, we've been facing changes and we've been talking about change. But let's talk about things that don't change that much. That is media theories and models that help us understand complex practices and the way those practices change over time. So we have two media models. In the past, we had the broadcast model of mass communication, and then it turned into the modified broadcast model of mass comm. And finally, theorists came up with one unified theory, digital immigrants versus digital natives. So we'll explore these topics today. The broadcast model of communication flourished in the 1960s when theory reflected the operational mode of mass media. It was a one-way flow of information, so your TV spoke to you, but you could not talk back to your TV. In the 1960s, film and other media content went through the medium to the audience, and audiences were just recipients of that message. The firms and the companies that created those messages that were the artistic centers were film production companies, TV companies, radio broadcasters, and streaming companies such as Netflix and Hulu. The content, the actual movies, television episodes, radio programs that are made by these companies, they have different aspects to them. They have different names, different parts. So here are some examples. Like in film, you have Wonder Woman, Game Night. In TV, Game of Thrones, very popular, Grey's Anatomy. In radio, This American Life, The Night Vale, Morning Edition. And streaming services feature a lot of text, a lot of products that you enjoy. BoJack Horseman, Stranger Things, Sneaky Pete, and many, many others. So the medium is what we consider to be the channel of communication, and this means that through the medium we receive the message from the creator of the message. So the formula for communication is who says what through what channel to whom. So the medium, the channel, it can be a movie theater, a TV set, the radio device, the computer screen, or a smartphone or tablet. The audience in the mass media model, the audience would be mass consumers measured in millions, counted in millions. Those will be people in movie theaters, watching TV, listening to radio in their cars nowadays, and using streaming services. So the broadcast model of communication still reflects the old formula. Creator of the message sends it through a channel, it gets to the audience, and that's it. There's no return. But the the modified broadcast model of mass communication, shows us how mass media operates today with audience interaction. So there's a little bit of a circular flow. The audiences have some feedback. Feedback to the film, the content. There is interactivity, as you know, and especially with digital media, there's a lot of interactivity. Sometimes audiences participate in the creation of the next episode. Sometimes, like with the internet, we participate in the actual building of that content. So in today's modern media climate, audience creation is not so unique. These are very important parts of the media work, and even newspapers that were traditionally a one-way flow, now they have become two-way streets. So what are digital natives and digital immigrants? As you see on the cartoon, we're talking about you and me, basically, with you being the digital natives, the new generation who's learning in the environment rich with digital technology, and the immigrants, no pun intended, people who were born with dial-up phones, with the movie theater being the only place where you can watch a movie. In my day and age, when I was younger, TV cartoons were broadcast at a specific time. And if I wanted to watch a cartoon, I had to come home. I had to interrupt my game of hide and seek in the yard and come back and watch a cartoon because it was played at 6 sharp. It was aired at 6 o'clock sharp. So the digital natives are the post-millennial generation who are born recently and grew up with digital technology, and they're always on that technology. And of course, with that technology, you have multitasking, like, a young mother taking care of a baby while talking on the phone, driving and talking, driving and listening. And these people know how to use technology, but they don't really know how it's built. So only 1/3 of fluent users have real measurable skills. Digital immigrants are the older generation who are selectively on that media or on those medias. We don't like multitasking. Maybe tech savvy, because if we have jobs that are engineering or technology oriented, we can be pretty advanced. But we don't have to, so we can be sort of not so savvy as well. Possible communication issues related to these two parts of the population. So the digital natives adopt technology very quickly. They don't know what a rotary phone is. They don't know that the phones had receivers. And if you give them an analog setting, they will be lost. For example, if someone is used to having a navigation on their car, they will be lost with a map. Using a map would be a problem. Map is the original analog navigation device. Well, by analog, we mean technology that is powered by a simple mechanism, such as a clock that's ticking above me right now. Tick-tack, that's an analog clock. And the digital clock is sitting right here on my computer. It does not make the ticking sound. And if I lose power, this goes away, but that stays. And for a digital native, sometimes analog technology may be a little weird. Not to mention, I'm not talking about the nostalgic fans of vinyl, as they call, you call them vinyl, we used to call them records. So the digital immigrants are slower, limited users, and sometimes you would hear people saying things like, I learned how to type on my computer. Like, what's there to learn? Or I don't really know how to use Instagram. Well, what's there to know? You just Google whatever question you have, right? So those people, the immigrants in the digital world, they have good memory of the old pre-digital digital practices may have trouble understanding all these changes and the fact of convergence, and may have trouble communicating in digital settings. And sometimes that can be very annoying. Like, an older person would say, I got someone to come and help me set up Word on my computer. I'm like, really, you really have to bring someone in to help you with something as simple as that. Whereas, for example, someone of my children's generation goes and works at the IT center in their respective college, and they don't even think twice. They just go and do it. They help. I have colleagues who go help TLTC, and they don't need to be trained specifically because it's something that comes naturally to them. So regardless of who you are, native or a digital immigrant, you are both creating and consuming media. In this day and age, you do both. And creators and consumers collectively put together what we call user-generated media content. And so in this regard, I want to bring an example. If someone in this day and age refuses to have a cell phone, refuses to have a smartphone, I would question if that person can even operate successfully in today's society. And that would be my question with which I want to leave you by closing chapter 1 in its 3 parts. And we will go on to chapter 2 next time. Thank you.